Hey, welcome to the show. And if you could, real quick, just make sure to subscribe, like, and follow the show. You can subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. I think Spotify and Apple, you can subscribe or follow, whatever it's called there. My guest today, Chris Warren, former running back for the Seahawks and Cowboys. And I am a huge Seahawks fan. Grew up a Seahawks fan when I was a kid. I even have this. I got this. It's a Chris Warren starting lineup figure. So that's pretty cool. That's how much of a fan I am of the Seahawks and the old school 90s Seahawks, even when they were terrible. So we're going to talk to Chris about being a Seahawk during those years. He still had a lot of success despite how bad the team was. 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Team, or 2-time Second-Team All-Pro, excuse me. He's a Pro Football Hall of Fame nominee. So he didn't make it in, but he was nominated, and it's possible, I think, that he could still do that. Definitely did a lot of great stuff with his career, and he's written a book since then. And we're going to catch up and see what he's been up to since football ended and what the future holds for him. So check it out, Chris Warren. Please welcome Chris Warren to the show. So great to have you here. Like I said, I grew up a huge fan. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Just enjoying retirement and, getting to watch a lot of football now.
Yeah. But so, what's that?
It's good to watch from this side and not have to worry about, the headaches on Sunday, Monday.
Right. Yeah. That's gotta be tough getting, I can't imagine being out there with cause not only, I mean, I know obviously you were one of the best, but you're playing against some of the best and the hardest hitters, and that's gotta hurt to get nailed by Cortez Kennedy, even in practice.
Oh yeah. It wasn't fun. It was a lot of pain, but it was all worth it though. We worked hard. We had a great defense. So that was a pretty good challenge for me on a daily basis. To go against that defense and
for sure.
Just to sharpen my skills up against a great top 5 defense just about every year. When I was in Seattle.
Yeah. So back up in high school now, because I know we talked a little bit before here. We're talking about you were at Virginia before you went to Ferrum. But when you were at Virginia, they switched you to cornerback. What did you play in high school?
High school, I was always a running back.
Okay, so you're always a running back. So did Virginia? So did they recruit you as a running back, or were you a walk-on? Did you get a scholarship?
I was recruited as a running back. It was a blue chipper back then. So
okay.
I guess I was a 5-star. I had USC, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, and then Virginia was my last school. So ended up going to Virginia. It was 2 hours from my home where I grew up in Fairfax, Virginia, Northern Virginia, close to DC. And, so it gave my family a chance to see me play, and I wasn't too far from home. So that was a major decision. And, why I went there instead of the other Power 5 schools.
That makes sense. Yeah. And then so they moved you to cornerback because, like you said, Barry Word was there, and he was obviously really good at running back. So they wanted to try you at another thing. So then you end up leaving Virginia and going to Ferrum. I was trying to figure that out. And then I think, what was it, an academic thing?
Yeah, it was an academic thing. UVA had this rule where you couldn't make D's in consecutive semesters. And, I was over, my GPA was 2.4. I was eligible by NCAA standards, but the school was, they weren't having it. So I was on academic probation. And then, it was just, the academics.
Yeah.
Was the main issue. So, I mean, it's kind of a bum deal. The year that I leave and transfer, they switched the rule up. And they call it the Chris Warren rule now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that for Virginia or just for whole NCAA or what?
Just Virginia.
Virginia.
Just that particular school. Yeah, it's it's very prestigious school. Thomas Jefferson School. So it's for being not Ivy League, there's they're neck and neck with the Ivy League schools as far as academic standards and what's expected of their athletes.
Okay. So then you picked Ferrum because it was still close, and so then that way you could still.
Uh, yeah, Ferrum was about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Charlottesville, where I went to school at UVA. And what drew me towards Ferrum was just the winning tradition. They had won 4 national championships.
Hmm.
And they had a legendary coach who had been there, over, I guess, 20 years at the time when I went. And, he was, they ran a wishbone. I was guaranteed to run the ball. So, it was kind of and I got to play immediately. I didn't have to set out a year. So
Oh.
that was another major deciding factor as to, why I went to Division III. I wanted to have my last 2 years of eligibility.
Right. That makes
So
sense. So did you
yeah,
still
yeah.
have NFL aspirations at that point, or were you like, oh, I probably won't make the NFL now because I'm at a D3, or were you still
Um,
thinking I'm still going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I never gave up on, the NFL dream. I was a 5-star blue chipper, so I was just in a different school, so my skills weren't any different. I still had the 5-star skills, and I just needed to be at a school where I could showcase my talents, and get the ball in my hands, and make a name for myself at whatever school I was at. I just wanted to play ball and go to school and be on a team that was winning. And,
Mm-hmm.
I got all 3 of those things at Ferrum College. And, it's probably one of the best decisions I made going there.
Yeah. So how did you said that you went to the Senior Bowl. Now, how did they find you? Because it was Ferrum. I mean, it's a D3, but were they winning
Right.
divisions or they're winning championships? Did they win a championship that year? Did they go deep into the?
Uh, well, we were semis. We went to semifinals for national
Mm,
championship. Both years I was there, we lost in the semifinals. Both teams that beat us consecutive years, they ended up winning the whole thing. So yeah, so we were close, but um, so as far as like the Senior Bowl, I guess it was just from my stats.
mm.
I was averaged 29 yards per punt return. I was also a kick returner. I rushed for over 4,600 yards in 2 years, and I only played the second half, maybe 2 games
Hmm.
in 2 years. So I was always out by halftime. And so yeah, it was just a matter of me handling my business, having good games consistently, and just dominating the league. I mean, I was at Division III. I was supposed to dominate, and my my skill set was a little better than most teams we played against. But it's still football. You still have to go out there and play the game, and there's injury risk and what have you. But at the end of the day, football is football. When you
Yeah.
got those pads on and you got that ball in your hand, you attract all kinds of attention. So
Yeah. So that you got the attention, the Senior Bowl, and then the Seahawks, the Giants, and the Browns are the 3 teams that are interested. And then tell
right,
the story. So you went to go. We were going to try to work out for the Seahawks, but your car broke down. So they came and found you this is before cell phones, and they come and find you at a rest
right.
stop and have you
They
work out at
found
a
me at a
rest
rest
stop.
stop. Right. They're like, I called back, and I called the football office, the head coach, my running back coach. All the scouts are there waiting on me. Like, where you at, man? You got your workout here. I was like, man, I'm not gonna make it. My car is broken down about an hour and a half away from school. And so they're like, well, what mile marker are you? What exit are you? I was like, well, I'm at the rest stop, so and so rest stop, and I think it was Lexington, Virginia. And so, they show up about an hour later. They said, wait, just hold on right there. We'll be there. So I'm thinking, like, is they just going to do an interview, or they just want to see me?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking the whole workout is done. So, I'm just thinking, like, there's my chance. These scouts are never going to come back to Division III school to see me again. So, I'm thinking the worst, but um, they were like, we're gonna work you out right here on the rest stop. So there's it's Interstate 81. So you got traffic going both ways, and I'm up off on the side working out at the rest stop.
Did they do like a 40 time and stuff? Do you remember your 40 time back
No,
then?
they were just drills. They would simulating plays, getting a handoff. They would call whatever play they ran. They would show me the footwork. Um, I'd run the play. They asked me to run, bounce, cut back, cut left, cut right. Just different things. I guess they just wanted to see me move or see what what kind of see what your hips are like, because that's, as a running back, you need to be able to get in and out of tight situations.
Right. Well, they must have liked
So,
what they saw, because they drafted you in the 4th round, which it almost seems high for a D3 running back. But it's like, I mean, looking back, it's
right,
like you should have been a first rounder because of the stats you
right,
put up. So I guess they
right,
must have known. So that's what's always fascinating to me about the draft is you see these guys that are drafted round 1 and they're terrible, and then you see people undrafted that end
right.
up being amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was there was some talk about where I got drafted. I was actually the 89th player picked, so I was in the top 100 players picked out of that year, coming out of D3. So that was a proud moment. I thought I should have been drafted higher, but I think the Seahawks used that Division III things to get me on the cheap.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, because there was some discussions. I found out years later
oh.
about drafting me earlier in the rounds, but there was some indecision about the Division III thing. So that was
Oh.
probably why I ended up at 4th round. So, but when I got to Seattle, I knew when I got there that I was going to be on every special teams. I was going to be returning punts and kicks. So I kind of had an idea I would make the team, but you still have to go out there and make plays and show the coaching staff and show the general manager and ownership that you're worthy of the pick. So yeah, it was it all worked out.
Is it scary doing the special teams though? Because that's like, especially as a rookie, I mean, it's kind of like a suicide mission doing those special teams. Like the people are just running as fast, and that's why they think they've changed the rules now, because it's so dangerous. So many injuries on returns and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was it was definitely scary. Especially playing, what was that during the '90s? I mean, the rule changes were minimal back then. So there were times when you got guys just getting blindsided left and right. You're running down on the kickoff team, and you have to look like constantly looking around, like where's my guy coming from? Because it could be any one of those 10 or 11 guys can come and side swipe you, because you never would know. So I'm glad they took that part out of the game, but we had to endure that.
Yeah. So how do you know, like when you call a fair catch, is there some sort of like clues that you're looking for? Like if a guy's so far away, then you call the fair catch, or how do you know when to call a fair catch versus just returning it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's where you get set up. We have scout reports as far as like line up on the 35 or however many yards from the line of scrimmage. Say like this punter, he averages 45 yards. So it's like just take it back, line up on the whatever. We would watch where the ball was and then line up accordingly to what the punter's average, and we usually kicks the ball. And if you have to run up for it, it's pretty much going to be a fair catch. If you have to run back for it, you probably will want to run that back.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So it was then you have to judge it. The ball's kicked, then you have to look at the ball, see where the ball is, look back down, see where the defense is, and then okay, well, I have enough time to catch it, make a move, and either get out of bounds or just not take a big hit. But
right.
It was I think my baseball days kind of helped me out as far as being able to field punts and kickoffs. Just reading the tip of the ball, reading the flight of the ball, the spin of the ball. If it's a knuckleball, it's going to fall down quick. If it's a spiral, it's going to keep going. So there were, some things that I practiced, to make sure that I didn't have any fumbles back there.
Mm-hmm. Did you learn from the other running backs ahead of you on the depth chart? Like I think was John L. Williams. I guess technically he's a fullback, but he was there, and I think was Derek Fenner ahead of you at that point.
Yeah,
those guys.
Yeah, Fenner was starting. He was a starting running back, and John L. was the fullback. But yeah, I learned so much from John L. Just watching him every day in practice. Because I'm thinking, I'm going to play. I'm a rookie, bright. I made the team. I'm thinking I'm going to get at least 50-50 split time with Fender. I'm like, all right, we can do that. But Chuck Knox never played rookies, so I'm on the bench a lot. I had I think a total of 11 carries my first 2 years. So
yeah.
I barely saw the field any. I think I started one game up in Pittsburgh, and that was like I don't know. I got maybe 8 of those carries in that game. So, so I did a lot of watching. I practiced a lot of learning. I watched John Allen and how to navigate through pass protection. He taught me how to block. Taught me how to read defenses. Where blitzes are coming from. Just stuff that you don't normally learn on your own. It was great to have a guy that was as experienced as he was, and versatile guy. He could play running back or fullback. He could go tailback a couple plays and he come back and be fullback. So, and he could catch the ball. He caught the ball out of the backfield a lot. So, it was just watching him, and I believe James Jones was there as well too. So
that's right. Yeah.
He was like a combo fullback, tailback type guy. He had played up in Detroit for a while, but I think him and John-El were teammates at University of Florida. John-El was actually the tailback at Florida, and James Jones was the fullback. So I had that experience of both those guys, man, to teach me like what the running back position was all about in the NFL, and how it has to be played.
Were you ever scared of getting cut? Like, did that make you work harder since you were not obviously the starter at that point? I mean, did that make you like try to work harder? Were you putting in the extra hours? Like, you hear these stories of Russell Wilson, like they have to kick him out of the office and stuff in the camp because he's coming in watching game film all the time. They're like, look, we got to close the camp down. Like, you got to get out of here. Like,
yeah, I was kind of, I'm not proud to admit, I was kind of the opposite way. I mean, I was in shape. I never missed any weight. I had to play at 228, and I was 228 every week.
I lost you for a second there. That's right.
Yeah, sorry about that. So my off-season workouts were different. I would do lots of different sports. I mean, I would play basketball sometimes, run a lot of hills. I would just do anything to stay in shape, any type running, but it was never like, I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to, go into a season, being burnt out. I wanted to have, be able to build my strength up.
Right. And it's probably,
as year goes on week by week, it's like a year round thing.
Yeah. So, and it's different for running back.
I never let my weight go up or down. My weight never fluctuated. I kept the same exact weight in the off season. I never was a guy that would overeat. I would have good nutrition. So
you stayed in shape.
I made up for it in other ways. Yes, I made up for it in other ways. I wasn't like a big guy. I didn't like to watch a lot of film. I'm saying, well, if I watch too much film, I'll have too much stuff in my mind. I'll get confused and take my natural running ability away.
Yeah, and it's different for a running back and a quarterback. Russell Wilson, he's got to know a lot more, whereas running back, it's a lot, you have more of a one-job thing. What's that?
Yes. Russell has 11 jobs.
Yeah.
Tied to that one.
So, but then so the first 2 years you're not starting, and then before you start, was it around this time? I heard you saying some story about how you went to a party with Cortez Kennedy and Howie Long was there, and he said that you were going to blow up, and that really gave you like a boost of confidence, right?
Yeah. That was it was the NFL moment for me. Hearing that from a guy that I'd watched, when I was younger, and him having a career that he had, and to play against him, and then I got out of a couple of his tackles. It's like he had me, and I broke away, and he's like, "What the hell?" And then so later on this off season, Cortez, we go to this party, at Howie Long. So we were all talking, so we ended up beside each other somehow. We were, just back and forth. Like, hey, where do you play at? I was like, I'm up in Seattle. So what position you play? He's like, It's like, I'm running back. He said, oh, you probably don't get too much time because they got that kid Warren up there now. And he was talking to me, and he didn't know.
He didn't know who you were. Yeah.
Right. He didn't know. So I was fresh on the scene, and it was definitely one of those moments that gave me, the confidence to know that I could play at the level with some of the all-time greats, and to get a compliment like that from Howie Long, and it was a genuine thing. It wasn't like he was just saying it just to say it. That was a good moment for me.
That's really cool. So that first year that you played, that you started at running back, though, the team itself was so terrible. They're 2-14. So what is that like? You're playing pretty well. You're starting, but the team is 2-14. That's got to be frustrating, being on such a losing team. Do you just get sick of it, or are you just like, I got to do my job, that's all I got to worry about?
Yeah, I mean, it gets tough. When the same outcome over and over again. It's close games. Injuries everywhere. I mean, we were decimated with injuries. I think we went through 3 quarterbacks, 2 or 3 tight ends. The entire offensive line was gone. So it was just piecing people together. Every week there was somebody new coming in. It's like, so they would have no idea of what, how to run the offense or defense or whatever they were coming in. So, but yeah, it was a tough season. It was hard to stay motivated, but just knowing that the love for the game. I'm in the NFL. I get to play another game this week. And so it got to the point where you have to make your own. What I want to say, your own motivation. You have to come up with something to go into each week and say that I'm going to be positive about, we're going to win this game and this is what's going to happen. Blah blah blah. But we had a bunch of close games. We lost a lot of games by between 3 and 9, 3 to 7, 9, 10 points. Not even 10, but a lot of the single digit losses. They could have gone the other way. So. And I think our defense was ranked number 3 that year in the NFL. So, teams weren't scoring too much. I think we were only giving up maybe 13, 14 points a game, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I remember as a fan, I remember the 90s. I felt like every year I was like, okay, this is the year that they got Dan McGuire. Okay. No, they got Rick Meyer now. Now they got Kelly. Is that how you felt as a teammate too? Were you like, oh, they got Rick Meyer. This guy's the number 2 pick in the draft. This is it. We did it. Like, did you think the same thing? Like every year, not every year is going to be the year.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was, it was exciting when you get a player like, just like you're saying, Rick Meyer comes in. Oh, we got Rick now. So that's like definite upgrade for us. We need a quarterback that can run. We need a quarterback that can throw it. Coming out of Notre Dame, we got to see him play. You're thinking, okay, he'd fit in great with the offense we ran. We ran the ball a lot, play action. He could roll out, dump off the tight ends. So it was always exciting. Then we get, Joey Galloway comes in. Yeah, so
he was fun.
We've had some talented teams, and I think we just were, we ran into some other teams that were super talented in our division that kind of always got in our way. You had Kansas City, of course. They were always loaded.
Broncos were good. Raiders.
Broncos were good. Yep.
But so why do you think, like going back to that initial question, like with the draft status, like you're a 4th rounder and you had 3-time Pro Bowler and you have a great career. Now, why did Dan McGuire, Kelly Stouffer, and Rick Meyer, all 3 of those quarterbacks are 1st-round picks and none of them panned out? Why do you think, what happened there? What went wrong? Because you're on the inside, so you're seeing the locker room, their workouts, all that. Is there something? Was it just luck of the draw, or was it not the work ethic, or what do you think it was?
No, I mean, it wasn't lack of work ethic. Those guys were always in their weight room. Quarterbacks didn't lift much anyway or work out, with everyone else. But I mean, they were always around, always in the locker room, always doing things they were supposed to do. For some reason, things didn't quite work out for them, or they couldn't quite, turn their careers, into something that was similar to what they had, coming out of college. But the main thing I think was, also it could be the system made out of, been what was needed for them. Because like today's game, every offensive coordinator changes his offense to fit the skills of his quarterback. And, we didn't make many changes, from year to year in the running game. As far as, we're going to always run zone. We're always going to run counter. We're going to run draw. We're going to run the toss. And we're just going to run a bunch of different formations, whatever. So, maybe the offense just wasn't tailored for those guys to succeed, because they have good arms, practice with, you see zip on the ball, they're making good decisions. They're not overwhelmed by the defense, making the right calls. So, sometimes things just don't work out. And that talent or that success that you had in college sometimes doesn't transfer over to the NFL.
That's interesting. I think your last year, you got to play with Warren Moon though, right?
Yeah.
So how was that? Because he was a good quarterback for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, first of all, he's legendary Warren Moon. I mean, that's that goes without saying. He's one of the all-time greats. And to have him to play in that backfield, in the same backfield with him was definitely special. He always gave you a chance to win. It's always, he knew where to place the ball. His experience and, keeping the team together, getting guys lined up where they needed to be. If someone was out of place or he would see something on the defense, he would just change the play on his own. So it's like having a coach on the field. So he knew everything. It's like he's the old man. So,
yeah, because when he came to Seattle, he was in his late 30s, if not 40s, right?
40. He may have been 40.
Yeah,
I think he may have been just turned 40. Yep.
Yeah. He played a long time. So I think you had so many good seasons, but that 94 season, you were second in the NFL, I think, to Barry Sanders, number one. Is that something that you paid attention to back then? Were you trying to get the most yards in the NFL? I mean, obviously you don't call the plays, but are you cognizant of that? Are you aware of, Barry Sanders has more yards than me, I got to get more yards?
I mean, yeah, it's friendly competition. You look at your peers and you look at the best and you want to see, who's your competition. Who do I have to beat? Because I want to be number one in rushing every year. I want to lead the AFC in rushing. I want to lead the NFL in rushing. Every year that's a goal of mine. That was my drive. That's what kept me going. I wanted to be the best, and I figure if I'm my best every week, my team has a chance to win. So. Yeah, man, just I would stat watch a little bit. I'm like, damn it, Barry, you got 200 yards today.
He was so freaking good too, though. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what are the most memorable games in terms of as a Seahawk? I know there was that one game of the Oilers. Do you remember the one where you guys blocked a field goal and then Robert Blackman ran it back for the touchdown to win the game? That was crazy. What other games stick out for you?
Oh man. Let's see. There were a few.
You had a couple where you scored 3 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, against the Raiders. Yeah, I think we had a big blowout game against the Raiders. Beat them like 44-3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I scored 3 touchdowns. Probably could have scored 6. But that was a great game. The game where I broke the rushing record, my last carry as a Seahawk, I broke the Kurt Warner's rushing record by 1 yard.
Oh, that's awesome. And then Sean Alexander would later break yours, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
he broke my So I'm number 2 now.
Dang it! And then you got to. And I think it was your last year. Was that Walter Jones's rookie year? So you got 1 year with him too, right?
Yeah. I got a year with Big Walt too. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was he pretty? I mean, what was it like running behind him? That's just it made your job easier.
Oh, much so, much more. I mean, it was this guy never beat him. I mean, I never saw him get beat for a sack in practice and anything. I mean, when he first walked on the field from first day of practice, you knew it was like, he's going to be here for a long time.
Wow.
And he was just, he was special from the first day. I mean, he caught on to the offense instantly. Knew all the pass protections. It's like, this guy been here before? What's going on?
Well, is it the same with like Cortez Kennedy? Like those guys, like Cortez Kennedy was so freaking good too. You played with him for a long time.
Yeah. We actually we were drafted together.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Taz. That's my rookie club buddy.
Yeah.
It was me, Blackman, Terry Wooden, Cortez. Yeah, we call ourselves the rookie club. So we did everything together. First rookie year, so we're just like, we got to stick together. We got to do everything together. We got to make this team. We got to turn everything around. It's going to be on us. So so we were all drafted in the same class. I think Bill Hitchcock was drafted that same class too.
Right.
We all stuck together, and still good friends to this day. So
that's cool.
I do miss Cortez though. Yeah, that was a big surprise.
Too early for that. Yeah. Well, your coach is Chuck Knox. You talk about him. He gave you and he didn't play rookies, but he gave you your first chance. Then you had Tom Flores, but Dennis Erickson. Tell me some stories. Is there any stories from him? He was kind of a crazy coach, right? He's got a little bit of a wild man, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of rub the team the wrong way when you get a DUI before the practice.
Oh, that's right. He got a few of those, didn't he?
Yeah. It was like,
he got one before practice. Like he was drunk on his way driving to practice.
Well, I mean, it was during the off season.
Oh, the off season.
Yeah. Okay. He had just gotten hired. I guess,
right. Okay. That's right. Yeah.
All it's kind of, I mean, we all make mistakes,
Sure.
And, things happen, so, but, he was an offensive guy. I mean, he came in and he wanted to put the ball in the air and, which I liked it, because it would loosen the defense up, so he came in and from Miami, and I guess we pretty much had the same running game, but there were a few changes with the passing game that he made. Then he comes in, had a split time with Broussard and Lamar Smith. So I'm coming off 4 consecutive 1,000 yard seasons, 1,400 yards. And then I have to split time with 2 other running backs. So, it was kind of, it rubbed me the wrong way. I thought I was, on my way to becoming, just someone that would be in Seattle the entire time. I would, that's the way my career was going. I had 2 team MVPs, which has never been done before.
Right. Yeah.
4 consecutive 1,000 yard seasons, leading rusher of all time. So, I was just thinking that it would be some type of a reward for the consistent, just a consistent level of play and success that I had. But there's the football side always has business, and there's other things that go on. It's not all about you. So, there were some changes made, and 2 years later, I was in Dallas.
Yeah. So with Dallas, did you choose the Cowboys? Because I guess there's 3 things when you're looking at a team. You're looking at a chance for a ring, playing time, and money. And you didn't get the playing time, but I think you probably got money. And then I'm assuming was the chance for a ring. Is that kind of what made you go to Dallas?
Right. Yeah. It was, the Cowboys still, it was still had the offensive line was still there. Larry Allen, Eric Williams, Stepnowski, all the guys that were there. So I figured, we got Troy Aikman, Emmett's still there. I don't mind, spelling Emmett, being a, I guess the support guy or, the complimentary guy. So it was a good situation for me. I got, it wasn't the amount of money I was making in Seattle, but, for being a backup, I was doing pretty well. But I think the reason, and plus going there was after speaking with Jerry Jones, he's saying that I'm there to compliment Emmett. He wants Emmett to get the Russian title. I need to help him, if he has to take a game off or if he's, injured, or because Emmett was going through a lot of nagging injuries. His shoulder was messed up. He was having hamstring issues, and so they needed a viable running back that could handle the load in case he was injured for extended time. So I signed with the Cowboys. Also, my running back coach that was there with Seattle with me came there as well.
Oh,
Clarence Shellman. So we went down to Dallas and ran our offense, our running game down there. So, and I think there was the offensive line coach was also in Seattle before Hudson Hawk was at Dallas as well. He was the offensive line coach, but he was in Seattle earlier back with I believe with Flores was there. I believe.
Oh, really? Yeah, the name sounds familiar. But then you had Deion Sanders was on the Cowboys. I think it was your second year he joined, or I don't think he was there your first year.
Yeah,
but
he was there. Yeah, he was there my first.
Oh, was he there both years? Okay. So what was it like having him in the locker room? Is he just is he like crazy? Like he's so boisterous on TV and stuff. Is he like that in the locker room too? Is he funny, entertaining?
Oh, man, he's funny, man. He's a funny dude, man. He's like, he's like your brother. Just jokes all the time. And, he's always talking to you. Always, comes by your locker, tell you a joke, keeps walking. Tries to get guys to go to Bible studies. I know you're out there sinning, and then you got to come on here. So he was the energy in the locker room. Him, Michael Irvin, of course, he was. You could hear him no matter what. You didn't have to see Mike. You could hear him all the way from the training room to the dining hall, everywhere.
So what were you like? What were you like in the locker room? Are you more of a quiet leader, or are you just more of like are you vocal, or are you more just like a teammate that?
I was just the cool guy that got along with everybody. I just lead by example. I would practice hard, try not to make too many mistakes in practice, not go to sleep in meetings. So I was kind of like the big brother on the team. I looked out for everybody. The rookies, I would give them advice about how to maintain themselves, how to make the team, how to stay around, for years. How to make how to get 2 contracts, 3 contracts. You want to get consecutive contracts in the league. So just stuff like that, man. Being a mentor, and just being a good teammate.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you finish your career. You're an NFL. You're a Hall of Fame nominee. You didn't get into the Hall of Fame, but you were nominated. How are you not in the Seahawks Ring of Honor? At least, I mean, I would think they would put you in there right away.
I have no idea. I really don't know. I think I've been doing the number stuff. With as far as the other guys that are in the Ring of Honor, Largent, and so.
Because Kurt Warner's in, right? And you broke his record.
Yeah, Kurt Warner's in, and I broke his record.
What the heck?
And less carries too. So,
yeah,
I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for. They got to get the first Super Bowl team, and then they got to get the next Super Bowl team guys in. So I don't think I'm high priority on the list. But when I left Seattle, I had the most yards of all-purpose yards of anyone in the history of the franchise.
Yeah, and the game's changed now too. I think it's more friendly to offense. Like when those numbers you put up, I mean, that was harder to do back then, wasn't it? Oh,
definitely was. Yeah. It was. We didn't have all the rule changes. So you could. It just made the game a lot tougher. It was more physical, of course. So that was it was a running game back then, more so than what it is today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then what did you do after you retired from the NFL? Are you able to just collect retirement, or did you, I think I heard you say something about running businesses or something, or?
Yeah, well, I worked at Morgan Stanley as a stockbroker for a couple of years, right out of the league. Maybe 4 or 5 months after I retired, I started working at Morgan Stanley, which I had my money invested there. So, I had a good relationship with the guys I was doing investments with, and, just meeting people along, just over the years. And so they offered me a job when I got done playing. So I I went and did that for a few years. Didn't like being indoors in the office office environment.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
I was used to being outside. It's just I'm an athlete, so
Yeah.
yeah. So I wanted to get back and I wanted to get away from football after I retired. But then after I was away from it, I wanted to start to ease back into it. So I started doing football camps and skills and drills things. Helping kids, get recruited for high school, doing video for them, sending videos out, sports performance training, stuff like that. So everything involved with sports and football. Also I went back to Ferrum and coached running backs for 3 years down there. And
wow.
We won two conference championships out of the 3 years I was there.
Nice.
And it's just, everything I've done has been, towards football and helping the youth and, anything that was helpful for me in my career, and anything that I can see now that would help an athlete further their career, I'm here to help them out. So, I've always just, been a mentor type guy anyway, and, helping out young kids. So,
that's great. And you wrote a book too. I haven't read this because I just found out about it like yesterday, but you wrote a book called Life Lessons Before and After the Game. So what are some of the life lessons that you have in this book that you've learned?
Oh man, it's just, the main thing is just turning negative situations to positive ones. Don't beat yourself up over a mistake. And, because it can easily be turned around to a positive. There's always a positive side to everything. So, there's just different examples about, my life, some examples of how, I've stayed positive when negative things have happened and, just giving examples of just how to do it and how to overcome and still reach your goals in life.
Yeah. How do you do that? Because now, how do you avoid the distractions? Because I see there's stuff. I mean, it's got to be so overwhelming. You're in your 20s. You're getting, I don't know if you're getting paid millions of dollars when you first started, but you're making good money in your 20s, right out of football. You have fans, you're on TV, you have your own, sports figure that we showed here. And how do you not just get distracted and just go, life is great? I mean, and I'm not saying that you didn't party some, but you didn't party too much. Like, how did you not fall into that trap? Because I see that with so many other players. You see them, they just fall into these, this mess. They get into trouble. They're getting arrested at strip clubs and stuff like that. And then people are always quick to judge, like, oh, that kid. But it's like, I think most people, if you 22-year-old, you give them a bunch of money, they're going to screw it up. So how did you not screw it up?
All right. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens fast. That NFL life comes at you, in a blink of an eye. You go from being in a locker room in college where, you maybe get your, 2 pair of cleats the whole year, but you go get to the league and you got all the money you need. You can buy anything you want. You can go anywhere you want. And, some guys just lose their bearings and get off track. And they believe that, there's, not going to be any consequences. So I can do this. So I used to do this back home when I was younger. I used to do this, but, you can't do those things anymore that you did when you were in college. That's those things you have to leave behind. And, you have to be disciplined. I mean, it's tough to walk away and say no from, oh, there's a party in Vegas, you want to come out to do this. Oh, there's something in Miami, you want to go. There's something over here in Chicago, so it's like, well, that's going to take away from, a lot of my time that I need as, to heal my body in the off season or be in shape for next year. It's like you have to say no to a lot of things. So you miss out on a lot. I mean, I just me personally, I would take maybe 3 weeks after the season was over, get all my partying out of the way, take my vacations, do everything I wanted to do, and then start getting back, just, just keep my mind frame in a way where to know that I had a bigger picture. There's something bigger that I had to accomplish. So, I had goals that I wanted to reach, and there was I didn't want to let my family down. That's for sure. I don't didn't want to have any incidents that happen. You can't stop everything, but you can minimize them if you just are careful enough.
Yeah. So just staying focused. That sounds like that's a big part of it then, and having a goal and so not letting that stuff get in the way. So your son, now, how's your son doing? Because Chris Warren, what is it? Is it the third? He's the third, right?
Third.
Yeah.
Right,
So because he played at Texas and he was lighting it up in the preseason for the Raiders. And I thought, I was like, dude, he's going to be amazing. And then he got hurt. And so now he's coaching. Is that right?
Yeah. He's back in Texas. He was in Virginia. He came back home to Virginia for a while, and guess just to get away from stuff and unwind a bit, figure things out. But he's back here coaching, and I think he had another some stuff he wants to do back at the University of Texas. And then his coach that he had, his trainer from high school, and like his off season, he's doing some work with him as well. So I'm not sure if he's trying to get back into the league or if he's just going to continue to coach the kids or what. But he's still only 24 years old, and and I don't know what the whole situation was at Oakland. Now after the fact that Gruden's situation happened. So,
right.
And he was fine all throughout the whole preseason. He never said anything to me about any injuries or anything.
Yeah.
And so then I'm looking at, so how do you end up on injured reserve? You just played the last game. You made it through the entire game against the Seahawks.
Yeah, because I think he was like leading the preseason in rushing yards.
Yeah, he was leading preseason rushing. Yeah. And so it was just, it was just weird how it happened. It was like he plays the entire preseason, does well, then this goes to injured reserve. And I never got that. I didn't know what the what the injury was. They never said what the injury was. They never.
Do sometimes teams stuff people on the injured reserve as a way to like an extra roster spot so they can keep them for next year? Because they know this kid's probably not going to start this year, but next year, like our running backs are going to be free agents. So we'll put them on injured reserve for this year and we'll have them back next year.
Right. But I mean, he was playing. He was, he was right there with, I think, Lynch, because he was telling me about him and Marshawn. They used to talk a lot, during training camp, because he was helping him out with stuff. And, Marshawn doesn't really do that kind of stuff. And so my son never told him that I was his dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Marshawn finds out. He's like, Marshawn, he's like, hey, why do you tell me I was your dad? Why do you tell me that was your pops?
That's funny. Yeah. How did he not?
Yeah, so he didn't. I think it was like 2 weeks before he even found out.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Well, so what does the future hold for you? What do you have anything in the works? Anything that you're working on? Are you just going to do more coaching or?
Well, right now I'm going to do some consulting with helping high school, college kids right now. With the NIL stuff going on. A lot of kids need some guidance, need some help with all these guys that are coming at them. The agents, and it's really a free for all right now with with the kids coming in college and high school with trying to get deals, and these guys are just they're able to make money now, and they're a little vulnerable as far as what kind of wrong advice can lead you the wrong way, or you could make a decision that can hurt your future earnings or anything in the future. So you want to make sure that you get involved in anything with people, as far as business wise moving forward with the new NIL deals. You're gonna need some help. So so I'm just gonna be consulting and helping out with kids, high school, college.
Okay, sounds great. And I like to end each episode of my show with a charity. And is there a charity or a cause that people can donate to? That is something near and dear to your heart, or
near and dear to my heart? It's Non-Hodgkins Lymphoma.
Okay.
My dad passed away from that probably 4 years ago.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So, and that's what he passed away from. So, if any charity that comes up or anything that anybody wants to give, that would be my choice.
Okay, I will put that in the notes. And then is there a website or place for people to contact you if they want to reach out to you and for mentor?
I would say just Twitter.
Twitter, okay.
Yeah, just Twitter. SEA 42 Hawks is my, I think it's my Twitter.
Okay.
At C42 Hawks.
Okay, I'll put that in the notes. And then, yeah, go ahead and stick around and we'll chat after we'll say goodbye to the audience. Thank you to Chris. Make sure to follow him on social media to keep up with him and his future projects. Make sure to follow me on social media as well. And of course, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen or watch. And if you are watching on YouTube, you can even give a thumbs up to the video and comment on it. That will help me out a lot. And of course, your likes, comments, and shares on social media will help me out as well. And finally, if you have the time, I would love for you to write me a review of the show on Apple Podcasts. That helps more people find the show so that more people can listen. And the more people that listen, the more the show grows. And we get, bigger guests, and we get more and more people to listen, and everybody wins. So it's a win-win. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, shoot for the moon.